Welcome, everybody. I'm Jay Billig, and I'm here with Simel Bey as we help you discover your true nature and what it means to treat the true you. As I said, my name is Jay Billig. I'm an international best-selling author of the book Architect of Being, Easily Create Your Dream Life from the Foundation Up, with a foreword by Bob Proctor. I'm also the founder of New Thought Forum.
So, as Jay mentioned, my name is Simel Bey. I've been practicing Oriental medicine for about 14 years here in Austin, Texas. I've began Bay Acupuncture, a few other businesses that help the individual remember who they are. I'm also part of a medical consortium where we're building a new facility based upon moving sick care to health care here in the local Austin community, which should be opening in fall of 2019. So I'm very happy to be here with you guys this morning.
Thank you for being here, Simel. We understand happiness is an inside job. What does that mean to you when you hear that?
So happiness is a reminder in my world of a quote that says, "The map is not the terrain." And what that refers to, in my understanding, is that while we can have a understanding of where we should go or the things that people should wish for us, we may not remember or understand the terrain while we do have a map. And so until we're in the forest or in that area, we start to remember through our challenges what creates a sense of peace for us. And we know that laughter is a part of that. We know that service is a part of it. We also know that rising above our humanity to compassion is also a part of happiness. So I think that's a few elements which helps the human be happy.
I love that. I want to ask a couple questions, Simel. When you picture, just close your eyes for a moment, work with me here. Picture your front door and describe it for us.
So my front door is a portal, if you would, of an array of colors, a space whereby flowers align the entrance, and it is a setting whereby welcoming is a part of the picture. And so I look at my front door as a sense of safety, as a sense of welcome, and also a sense of opportunity to everyone that I meet. And so in my world, we view that as a place of growth and development. And so leaving, going, it's an opportunity to create something better.
All right, that's really phenomenal. I love the metaphor of that too. What about your kitchen? When you close your eyes and see your kitchen, what do you see?
Mm-hmm. So again, I see pictures of art on my refrigerator from my kids, creating a whole array of worlds. I see a 100-year-old cabinet from my wife's um, great-grandmother, and then a picture, a painting created by my great-grandmother, and they sit side by side. And so we have these two juxtapositions of great-grandmother energy and children who have painted their worlds. And so that's what's in my kitchen. So I feel very much at home.
I mean, with the descriptions that you gave, like I just I can feel myself there in your kitchen with you and experiencing that myself.
Mm. Well, on any day you would have some of the best cooking as well. Too, so.
I have no doubt about that. We've got a family to feed after all, right?
That's right.
So help us see this process of visualization.
Mhm. Well, as we know, with most visualization, it requires a uh, sense, going back to the quote, the map is not the terrain, but a sense of stillness, a place whereby we can use um, the moment to create what we wish to see. Generally speaking, there are emotions involved. Some would say that we can transmutate different emotions to create what we wish. So there is a particular understanding of intention. Um, there's also a sense of focus. And this is, in my world, a bridge between visualization and imagination, which are two different things. Imagination being the fuel, the energy, if you would, and visualization being the landscape. And so, using the mind, we're able to build this bridge through focus and staying centered. And then I also sense that it's also, as you're creating your uh, painting upon your canvas of your mind, it's a question of what are you focusing on? So the question is, what does that look like to you? And truly, as you being a creator, you hold those keys and being kind to yourself and being grateful uh, is those are two of the first steps, I think, on that bridge.
Well, I really love that the image of the bridge that you put out there too. The, so with that, you can sort of see yourself on that bridge because we think in pictures, and we could feel ourselves in Simel's kitchen there, experiencing, the generations of connection, through the the grandmother's furniture and the children's art. You can almost taste the food, right? It it is really amazing. So when you picture your mind, what is the picture that shows up for you? Is it the brain? You should think again. Just put that out, because the mind truly is in every cell of the body. It is the connection to life force energy, and it in fact is pure energy. The body is a physical manifestation of this same pure energy. The brain, which is a part of the body, is a control mechanism, but it does not control the mind. The mind controls the body. The body is a vehicle of the mind. Imagine a puppeteer with the strings and the marionette, dangling there, dancing on the stage. That is the visual. There is the mind is the puppeteer, and the body is this puppet. How does that play out for manifesting what it is that we want in life?
I would agree. Manifestation is a understanding that we can create anything that we think, feel, and bring it to fruition. There are many different states of manifestation. In general, we utilize whatever we're ruled by to manifest our world. And of course, we exist within worlds. And so it's very important to understand which world you find yourself. Is that the world of fear? Is that the world of anxiety? Is that the world of some sense of happiness and joy and gratitude? And along that note, we generally like to create from a place of gratitude and the thought form being, I'm grateful for my life. I'm grateful for the um, um, place in which I dwell. And then there's a sense of clearing the slate, which allows us to begin our day, to begin our moment. That seems to allow one across the bridge of manifestation to create over time anything that you wish. And so the positive thoughts in general, such as gratitude, such as, again, those which seem to, again, be thankful, create and also attract the experiences that you wish to have. And so never forget that we are creators, I think, co-creators, and I think it's very important to be reminded of that on a regular basis for most of us.
It is. That is a really big reminder that we're in this together, with the and really have a lot of power there. So we talked about thinking in pictures just a moment ago. This particular picture that you see, this picture of the mind, was proposed in the 1930s by Dr. Thurman Fleet. And he was struggling with helping his patients understand their connection, the connection of their mind and their body, and how they are truly integrated and not something separate. And he realized, that we think in pictures, and so he created this picture of the mind. So the bigger circle at the top represents the mind, and the smaller circle, the body. In the big circle, you see there's a line across. The top part above that line represents the conscious mind, or the thinking, the educated mind. Below that line represents the subconscious mind, or the emotional conditioned mind. And then again, the small circle represents the body. So what does the conscious mind really refer to? It's as I said, thinking, or your educated mind. It's also where your senses are connected. You can imagine a little antenna connected to the top of this thinking mind, and as your senses. It's where your intellect is. It's where your free will lies, and which is so important that we have that. It is a place where you can originate thoughts, and you can choose with those thoughts the vibration that you choose based on what you think about. So the conscious mind can accept or reject any idea that comes into it. So you have an experience, this happens probably to all of us. You're out there driving and somebody cuts you off. You can accept that as what your mind thinks about that based on your senses, as a horrible experience. Or you can reject the idea that it's a horrible experience and let it be a gift to that person, to let them pass and wish them peace. So you can do with whatever information comes into your conscious mind whatever you want.
Mm-hmm.
And you can also, by that nature, choose directly, or you accept blindly, but you are making a choice either way. And then the subconscious mind, the emotional or the conditioned mind, it is like our plug-in to infinite intelligence, to our source energy. It is, as I said, in every cell of the body. It works with, to, and through you to create, what happens in your life. And different than the conscious mind, the subconscious mind accepts everything it gets as real. It only can say yes. And so when something is there and it functions by vibration or feeling in your subconscious mind, it only says yes to that. So the universal laws, you've probably heard of the law of attraction. It's probably the most famous of the universal laws. There are 12 that I sort of go by. There are different numbers depending on who you talk to. but they work the same for every person every single time. You cannot break these laws. They are working, and even if people say, that doesn't work, the fact is it's working, um, be, by the nature of the fact that it is this universal law. Um, you can think that you're violating it, but in fact you're not. They're automatically expressed, through our feelings and actions. It's where your paradigms live in this world that are automatically expressed, and those happen, over your lifetime. They're built up. Both you're born with some, and the things that you learn along the way. Your beliefs, your self-image, and your feelings all live in this realm of universal laws in the subconscious mind. So if you've got these things in there operating automatically, how do you do something about it if you are not in alignment with what you want to be happening? Well, you can change it. There's a couple of ways. One is by a shock, and that's most often when it's a shock to the system, it's a negative thing that happens. Like 9/11 is a huge example, sort of conscious shift for people. Or repetition. You can impress over and over onto the subconscious mind these ideas by what you are thinking and feeling about them, and they become then part of your system software, part of your mechanism in your operating system. And once they're there with the repetition, you don't have to focus on them. There's no conscious attention needed. They happen automatically, because they are embedded in the form of feelings and beliefs.
As Jay mentioned about shock, the thing about shock is pretty interesting, especially in the I Ching, how they speak about, they call it the arousing force of thunder. And the thing about that is that the rousing force of thunder brings about changes in our what we call cultural trances. We all have grown up in particular communities and situations where our parents say this is what it is, or and so there's generally a sense of something must change at some point in your life. That can be external. It can also be internal. It could be a car accident. It could be moving, someone taking a job somewhere else in a different city. And that creates this sense of change. And so that, of course, shifts our consciousness. That, of course, really either gives us the opportunity to grow and develop, or for some, they choose to stay in that cultural trance and actually entrench themselves, which can lead to all types of trouble, as we know, as self-medication, drugs and alcoholism, and certain things that are impediments to our growth and development. And so it's very important to allow those moments, those opportunities, and view them as opportunities, as a chance to grow and develop, because that's what we're here to do.
That is so. Really, I've not heard that phrase before, cultural trance, but it just really resonates with, I think, so many people. We're caught in this loop. Like, we all experience it. I experience it every day, and I think we, to the extent that we recognize it and look for ways to connect with people and help ourselves break free of that cultural trance, right? Reminds me of, like, what can people do about that if they feel like they're in this cultural trance? A great opportunity to do that and connect with people like Simel, who are on the front lines, truly, like, helping people through this process to grow into the next best version of themselves.
Mm-hmm. That's what we're doing. We're here to grow and develop and mend our our past, because they're all relative to different points across a timeline that we should recognize, accept on some level, and understand that and acknowledge that we are dealing with them. And then that allows us the opportunity to accept a change. And generally, one would not disagree that things that we don't wish to happen seem to happen when we resist that change. So it's really important to go with the flow. I know that sounds cliche. However, there's much to learn in that flow.
Well, I would wish I could get the flow of my slides to go, but I seem to be stuck here.
And so I think we're back on the slide. So we're
We
looking
are,
pretty
yes.
good there. Okay,
It
great.
takes us right to where you sort of brought people right to where we need to be, which is this, pure energy of truly everything that exists in everything in the subconscious mind is an expression of pure energy. Everything in the physical environment is an expression of pure energy. There is nothing in, science and spirituality both teach this. There is nothing that is created or destroyed. It is only transformed. And in that, when you see the world in this way, and when you utilize images, these pictures of the mind, that this tool that we're working with here, you truly see that your essence as a human being, as part of creation, can be nothing but perfect. It is an expression of pure pure energy and um, divine source. So you are tapping into the potential, which is infinite, of all that is. If you can embed this image in your mind, it is really, really helpful as you see the if you see yourself in this way and see other people that you're interacting with, it makes all the difference in the world, because we're all doing the best that we know how. And when you encounter somebody that that you don't think is really doing the best, you can actually trust when you understand how this works, you can trust that they are in fact doing the best with what they know. They haven't been exposed to this energy in their subconscious mind that has brought it to the surface.
The world as we've been taught it is not really what it is, what it seems.
Uh-huh.
There's so much more going on. We live in a vast sea of energy in this realm. And so, as we know, we've all been there. We were never as enlightened as we are now. I'm making a little joke there, but just that we're all growing, and so that's part of our divine rights as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, and it's this picture of the mind. We see that our body, we're sort of fooled in this realm of physicality. We're fooled into thinking that our body is the biggest part of ourselves, and it's not. We're fooled into thinking that we're disconnected from everything and everybody else,
Mm-hmm.
and we're not. It's the most limited piece. It's the physical expression. It's the residence of your mind, and a vehicle of the mind. Your thoughts, um, that come through your conscious mind, embedded into the subconscious mind as feelings, then get expressed out as actions in the world. And so, Simel talked about this early in this conversation about how important gratitude is. When you start with gratitude, which is really a feeling, then your actions take on a whole different perspective. Rather than being grateful after the fact, that's wonderful too. But if you start with gratitude, it informs your actions in a whole different way. And then those actions, every single time, this is all operating by universal law, remember, your actions determine your results that you get. And when you're coming at it from that perspective, it just makes such a beautiful difference for living on purpose.
The power of feeling, and I really sense that, and I use that word sense. We have this when we're children, this awareness that we're living in this vast ocean of energy, and we generally come into it through either, for some of us who recognize that we can astral travel out of our body with ease, or that we recognize that we have a fair amount of anger that just drives us and we don't know where it comes from, or we are literally feeling uh, a, a a plane of existence which we can't put into words, mostly because we're children and we can't find the words. We try through pictures and so on. At the same time, that study of feeling is generally the first step for many. And so feeling, literally imagining, not a fantasy, they're very, very different um, uh, levels on the spectrum there, but imagining the feeling of what you wish, it becomes real. That is super, super important. And so I really enjoy how the feeling that we focus on, that we wish to have, that helps us to visualize, is coming from a place much, much more ancient than the life at the moment that we've been given. And so that is a roadmap, again, of the terrain that we may not remember. We may not remember walking through, but there's a map already within us. And so listening to that is super important. I mentioned a quote that says that, blessings reside in quiet spaces. And so finding time to be still creates some sense and generally a validation of the curiosity of saying to myself, okay, I think I want to travel to a star system today. What is that? That curiosity. And so you may just meet a whole city of beings there one day, and you're like, oh my goodness, wow, there's something going on. And so those types of levels are grand, but just even on the mundane of listening to your body. The Taoists really have this understanding of the organs. Learning how to live through your organs is a level of achievement very rarely done by many. The ancient Egyptians also had this understanding that your organs have personalities. Your heart houses the mind.
Uh-huh.
Your kidneys house your willpower. Your lungs, of course, house your boundaries. Your spleen houses your ability to really have intuition. And your liver, of course, I'm kind of summarizing all of the attributes,
Yeah.
has the power of strategy, strategic thinking. And so by really delving into those, you begin to listen to your body in a way which is mostly not known through medical science. And you're living in a realm that is very much you, and that you create from that place, which is to some magical. And so this power of feeling is super important. But of course, it's at its basic, at its core, it must be mastered. Really, it must be really mastered. Mhm.
Yeah, I think part of that mastery, like I realized this, that part of the mastery sometimes is getting out of your own way
Mhm.
and just allowing that flow to happen, not in a not in a woo woo uh sort of, it's just all going to come to me kind of thing, but you're taking steps in that direction of what it
Sure.
is that you want, and you're listening to your body, and just getting in a space of gratitude like you started out with, and allowing for that to truly flow freely. So we have, just sort of to wrap all this together, this mind body integration. How does this all really work as you're sort of seeing this roadmap? There's a power that's flowing into you. You can sort of see it sort of flowing directly into your conscious mind. And in there, you're creating new ideas, new thoughts, and you can, there in the conscious mind, accept or reject any outside thought that comes in. So those that you want to have around for a while, you impress them on the subconscious mind, which takes them as real, and you fall in love with it. You get emotionally involved. You see yourself experiencing that thing. You feel it, And when that happens, that feeling, which has that level of belief and feeling, your vibration changes and you shift. And when that vibration shifts, your body, which remember is a vehicle of the mind, moves into action based on that feeling and that vibration. The action causes a reaction, another law of the universe from source energy, and that reaction causes results. And it really is, this sort of step-by-step process that everything flows to you and through you in this way. To see that stick person and to see yourself in this way, see other people in this way, and understand that we're all here, helping each other, and we're all here doing truly the best that we know how to do. Everybody is.
And so it is true that there are a few things that we must have in order to create our own reality. We must improve our consciousness. We must utilize feeling as a bridge to create. I would also add that to Jay's point of getting out of our way, that we must diminish doubt. We must diminish the ability that we doubt ourselves to do anything, especially create our own reality. And so by utilizing tools such as gratitude, service, words, symbols, and many other things to help us build that bridge and get across, we may just surprise ourselves. And when that surprise happens, we must care for it. We must commit to it. We must really be able to love it and accept it as a part of who we are, and as a reminder that we have so much to live for and to work towards in our life. And so that's I think those are a few steps to remember there.
Absolutely. Well, that's a perfect sort of culmination of this journey we've been on today. I'm just super inspired by the way that you connect, the ancient medicine and the practices, Simel, with this energetic flow for people, and really helping people live this out in their lives, like creating health and well-being for themselves every single day. And it truly inspires me.
Yes, and we appreciate everyone listening to this topic of fresh ideas and ageless wisdom. We really want you to be a part of it because ultimately we're talking to a place inside of you which never ages, as it says, ageless wisdom.
Thank you for being here with us. Simel, thank you for being part of this. If you want to reach out to either of us, our contact information is here on this last slide. And have an awesome day.
You too.